In this video tutorial, I am starting new topic, that is chemistry of nucleic acid. Now, what are the different types of nucleic acid? There are basically two types of nucleic acid, two types. One is deoxyribonucleic acid, it is DNA, and second one is ribonucleic acid, that is RNA. So, any nucleic acid, this DNA or RNA, any nucleic acid, it is made up of nucleotide. It is made up of nucleotides. Basically, what are nucleotides? Nucleotides are made up of three components or three parts. There is central pentose sugar is there. Pentose sugar is there. On one side of pentose sugar, there is nitrogenous base. This is nitrogenous base. And on other side of pentose sugar, there is phosphate group is present. Phosphate group is present. So nucleotides are made up of three parts. One is nitrogenous base, second is pentose sugar, and third one is phosphate group. When only nitrogenous base and pentose sugar are attached, this part is known as nucleoside. It is known as nucleoside. And when this nucleoside combines with this phosphate group, so that means nitrogenous base plus pentose sugar plus phosphate, it is known as nucleotide. Nucleotide. Now, nucleic acid. This nucleic acid means DNA or RNA. This nucleic acid is basically a polymer of nucleotides. So it is a polymer of nucleotides. So you can see the nucleic acid like this. Suppose this is first nucleotide, and we know that in nucleotide there are three components. There is a pentose sugar. Pentose sugar is there on one side. There is nitrogenous base. On other side there is a phosphate group. This is second nucleotide. The same structure, nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and phosphate group. This is third nucleotide, again nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and phosphate group. So what happens, this pentose sugar which is bound with this phosphate, and this phosphate makes up a bond with this pentose sugar. This second nucleotide, its phosphate group which is bound with the pentose sugar, it makes up a bond with the pentose sugar of its next nucleotide, and this things goes on and on. Okay, so this bond, it is known as 3' to 5' phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. So what is nucleic acid? Nucleic acid is a polymer of nucleotides with 3' to 5' phosphodiester bond. Now why it is known as 3' to 5' and phosphodiester bond, that we will discuss it in the future video. Okay, right now you need to remember that nucleic acid is a polymer of nucleotides bound with each other by the 3' to 5' phosphodiester bond. Now in this video, we will start discussing this nitrogenous base first, then we will discuss about pentose sugar and then the phosphate group. Okay, so let's look at these components one by one. So first we will be discussing nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous base. There are two types of nitrogenous base are there. The first is purine, and second one is pyrimidine. This purine and pyrimidine, these are the two different types of nitrogen base. This purine nitrogen base has a purine ring in its structure. So purine ring is basically a combination of two rings. The first one is the 6-membrane ring and the second one is the 5-membrane ring. These two rings are attached with each other and makes up a purine ring. Now this contains a carbon and nitrogen in its ring structure. So I am just showing a nitrogen, the position of nitrogen. On this position there is a nitrogen. This is the position of nitrogen. This is the position of nitrogen, and this is the position of nitrogen. So basically this purine has a 4 nitrogen atom in its structure. Let me write these nitrogens. Okay, and its participating atoms are numbered. Okay, so this nitrogen is number 1, then this is the second, this is the third position, 4th, 5th, and 6th. As you can see, it is a counterclockwise pattern. So after 6 in this ring, this nitrogen is given a 7 number, then 8 and 9. So total 9 members are there. In the second ring, the numbering pattern is in the clockwise pattern. So what we learned about purine? Purine contains a two rings. The first ring has a 6 members, and second ring has a 5 members. This ring of this purine is a heterogeneous. It is a heterogeneous ring. Why it is known as heterogeneous ring? Whenever in any ring structure, if you find two or more different types of atom in its ring structure, it is known as heterogeneous ring. As you can see, there are 4 nitrogen and remaining are the carbons. Wherever I had not shown anything, that means the carbon is there. So these are the this purine ring contains nitrogen as well as carbon. So 2 different types of atoms are there. So this ring is known as heterogeneous. Suppose all the member are either nitrogen or carbon. That means only a single type of atoms are there in the ring structure. At that time we can call it as a homogeneous ring. But in case of purine, we have carbon as well as nitrogen which are participating in the ring formation. So it is a heterogeneous ring. Okay, in the first ring there is a anti-clockwise numbering, and the second ring there is a clockwise numbering. There are certain double bonds are there, but which is not important for us. But still, if you are interested, one double bond is over here, the second is over here, third double bond is over here, and fourth double bond is over here. So this is the structure of purine ring. In case of pyrimidine, pyrimidine is a single ring structure. It is single 6 member ring. In this also there are certain positions nitrogens are present on this position, and over here this contains a nitrogen. So this is nitrogen and this is nitrogen. In this case also, in this pyrimidine ring also, there is a numbering pattern is anti-clockwise. So this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth position. So as you can see, it has only one ring. Pyrimidine has only one ring. This is a heterogeneous ring. Why heterogeneous ring? Because it contains nitrogen as well as carbon in its structure. Its numbering pattern is anti-clockwise. Now, how will you remember that at which positions nitrogens are there? So for that, you can remember simple rule that all odd numbers are nitrogen except 5. So as you can see, on the first position nitrogen, third position nitrogen, 5 is the exception, so no nitrogen, 7 is nitrogen and 9 is nitrogen, right? In case of pyrimidine, we have only 6 molecule, only 6 members are there. So on the first position nitrogen, third position nitrogen and fifth is the exception. So by this rule you can easily remember at which position nitrogen will be there. In case of pyrimidine, there are also double bond, 3 double bonds are there, its position are like this. Again, double bonds are not important for us, but still if you want to remember, you can remember it. So first we will look at the examples of major purine. We have 2 predominant purines are there. One is adenine and guanine. So let's first look at the structure of adenine. So adenine, it is a purine. So obviously it contains a purine in its ring structure. So I will just copy this common purine ring structure. So this Control C, and let's paste it over here. So this is our purine ring. In case of adenine, if you add a amino group over here, this is amino group, then it becomes a 6 amino. Why 6? Because this amino group is attached on the 6th position. So 6 amino purine, and this 6 amino purine is actually a systematic name for the adenine. This is the structure of adenine. It is very simple. Let's take up a second example, that is guanine. Again guanine, as it is purine, we'll just paste our common purine ring over here. In case of purine, if you add amino group on the second position and oxo group on the 6th position, it becomes 2 amino 6 oxo purine. And this 2 amino 6 oxo purine, it is just a systematic name of the guanine. Okay, so these are the structure of 2 major purine, that is adenine and guanine. There are certain minor purines are also there. Let's look at one by one. We are interested in total 6 other minor purines. Okay, so now other minor purines, there are total 6 in number, and we will try to remember their structure or try to remember their name in a group of 3. Okay, so the first 3 are hypoxanthine, then xanthine, and then uric acid. This is the first group, and the second group, which is somewhat related with the xanthine, and in this group also 3 members are there. One is trimethylxanthine. The second one is theophylline, and third one is theobromine. So all these 6 are the minor purines. This hypoxanthine, xanthine and uric acid, these are actually important in the human biochemistry, whereas trimethylxanthine, theophylline and theobromine, these are derived from the plant, but they have certain medicinal uses. So let's start with the hypoxanthine. So our first example of the minor purine is hypoxanthine. Hypoxanthine. After all, this hypoxanthine is the purine. So let's just copy and paste our common purine structure. So in case of hypoxanthine, if you add oxygen group, oxo group on the 6th position, this is the oxo group on the 6th position, then it becomes a 6-oxopurine, 6-oxopurine, and this 6-oxopurine, it is the just a systematic name for the hypoxanthine. The second example is the xanthine. The second example of minor purine is the xanthine. So let's copy common purine structure. This is common purine structure. In case of the xanthine, on the 2nd position there is oxo group. So on the 2nd position there is a oxo group, and on the 6th position also there is oxo group. I forgot to mention one thing, that when oxo group is added, so this double bond is eliminated. Here also double bond is eliminated. Here also double bond is eliminated. Okay. So in case of xanthine, what will be its systematic name? It's a 2,6, then 2 oxo group. So dioxopurine. Purine. So this 2,6-dioxopurine is a systematic name for the xanthine. The third compound of the minor purine is uric acid. And the structure of uric acid, so this is our common purine ring. In case of uric acid, you have one oxo group on the 2nd position, one oxo group on the 6th position, and the third oxo group on the 8th position. So its systematic name becomes 2,6,8. 2,6,8. 3 oxo groups are there, so trioxopurine. So this 2,6,8 trioxopurine is the systematic name for the uric acid. This uric acid is interesting. Why? Because uric acid is actually a degradation product of purine. It is a degradation product of purine catabolism. What happens in human when purines are degraded? The ultimate product, the end waste product we get is the uric acid. And see, in case of uric acid, this purine ring is still intact. Our human body cannot break down this ring. So that's why this is a uric acid which has intact ring. This uric acid, it has one interesting clinical application, that it is raised, the blood uric acid level is raised in case of gout. So we'll study more about the gout later, but right now just remember that uric acid is the degradation product of purine catabolism, and its level in the blood is elevated in case of gout. The fourth minor compound, which is, now we have discussed these 3 compounds. Now we are going to discuss about this trimethylxanthine, theophylline and theobromine. Now these all 3 compounds are found in the plant, but they have certain medicinal or clinical application. That's why we are studying it with the human biochemistry. Now these 3 plant minor purines are related with the xanthine. So let's first copy the structure of xanthine. So this is a xanthine. Let's copy it. So this is Control C. And okay, so first we'll discuss about trimethylxanthine, which is related with the xanthine, and xanthine in turn is a uric acid. So let's first copy the structure of xanthine. So this is a xanthine, and in case of xanthine, if you add 3 methyl group into the xanthine, it will become trimethylxanthine. But at which position? So in the first position over here, the first methyl group is on the first position. Then on the third position, you will add 2nd methyl group, and on the 7th position, there is a 3rd methyl group. Okay, so this compound becomes 1,3,7. So 1,3,7 trimethyl, and the rest of the compound is xanthine. We can simply write 1,3,7 trimethylxanthine. So this is a trimethylxanthine. Okay, now in which plant this trimethylxanthine is found? It is found in the caffeine. This trimethylxanthine is found. Now the 5th compound that we are going to discuss is theophylline. It is a theophylline. So let's first copy the structure of xanthine. This is our xanthine, and in this xanthine, if you add methyl group on the first position, and third position only 2 methyl groups are added, then it becomes a thiophylline. And what will be the systematic name of this? It's a 1,3-dimethyl xanthine. So 1,3-dimethyl xanthine is a systematic name for the thiophylline, and this thiophylline, it is found in the tea. It is found in the plant of tea, and this thiophylline, purified form of thiophylline, it is used for the treatment of asthma. And the last minor purine compound which is important for the human biochemistry is the theobromine. It is the theobromine. So the structure of theobromine, we need to copy the structure of xanthine. So this is the structure of xanthine. In case of xanthine, if you add methyl group at the third position and on the 7th position, you get a 3,7-dimethyl xanthine, and this is the systematic name for the theobromine. And this theobromine, it is found in the cocoa tree. So this dimethyl xanthine, 1,3-dimethyl xanthine, that is theophylline, and 3,7-dimethyl xanthine, which is theobromine, all these three are the plant purines. Now let's discuss about the examples of pyrimidines. We have 3 different pyrimidines. One is cytosine, then we have uracil and thymine. Let's discuss their structure one by one. So the first one is cytosine. So cytosine, it is a pyrimidine. So let's first copy this common structure of pyrimidine. So this is copied, Control C. Let's paste it over here. Okay. So this is a common pyrimidine ring structure. In case of this pyrimidine ring, if you add oxo group over here, so once oxo group is added, this bond is nullified, and amino group over this 4th carbon. So it becomes your cytosine, and its systematic name will become 2-oxo 4-amino pyrimidine. 2-oxo 4-amino pyrimidine is nothing but our cytosine. The second example of pyrimidine is uracil. Remember, uracil is predominantly found in RNA. It is predominantly found in RNA. And let's see the structure of uracil. As we know, uracil is the pyrimidine. So let's copy common pyrimidine ring structure over here. So this is our pyrimidine ring structure. In this pyrimidine ring structure, if you add oxo group on the 2nd position and oxo group on the 4th position, it becomes your pyrimidine. It becomes your uracil. So the systematic name for uracil will become 2,4-dioxo pyrimidine. 2,4-dioxo pyrimidine, that is your uracil. And the third part, that is thymine. So thymine is also a pyrimidine. So let's first paste our common pyrimidine ring structure. The structure of thymine is very much similar to uracil. This thymine is predominantly found in DNA. Remember, its structure is almost similar to uracil. Just like uracil, it has oxo on the 2nd position, oxo on the 4th position. In addition to this uracil structure, it is methyl group on the 5th position. So you can say that it's a 5-methyl uracil. It's a 5-methyl uracil. This can be its one systematic name, or you can also write it like 2,4-dioxo 5-methyl pyrimidine. So these both are the systematic name for the thymine. Remember, thymine is predominantly found in DNA, and uracil is predominantly found in RNA. You can simply remember that if you methylate uracil, if you add methyl group or methylation of uracil, results in the thymine. This is one thing. Second thing, I am always speaking that uracil is predominantly found in RNA and thymine is predominantly found in DNA. I am not saying that uracil is always found in RNA and thymine is always found in DNA. No, because certain exceptions are there, in which case uracil can also found in DNA and thymine can also found in RNA. Exceptions are there. Okay, so we cannot say always. We can use word predominantly. Okay, uracil is found in RNA, predominantly found in RNA, and thymine is predominantly found in DNA. So this is all about the common nitrogenous base. In the next video tutorial, I will be discussing about nucleosides and nucleotides. If you have any query or confusion, please write it down in the comment section below. Thank you.